Hi, Pat Dougherty, the Serve Doctor here at the Bolletary Tennis Academy in beautiful Bradenton, Florida. Today I want to show you a simplified spring-loaded serve motion that's real simple and easy to learn in just a short period of time. Lydia here is going to demonstrate for us, and it's something we worked on for about a month, but she was able to pick this up real quickly. First of all, I have her stance where her front toes pretty much facing at that net post to her right. Now, the second thing is we want to start her weight on the front foot. And the reason being is a lot of times they have trouble finding their balance when they shift from back to front. And so for the time being, I like to start with the weight on the front foot. It's going to help her position the toss properly. And when she goes through the whole loading of this spring wind, her head's going to stay right over that front foot the whole time. Okay? Now, here's the idea. If we call this the spring, this is the top of the spring, and the hips are kind of the bottom of the spring. What I want to do is have a 50-50 wind to get this thing 100% tight. The shoulders are going to get to the point where they turn and line up straight with this front foot here. So they're in a straight alignment between the shoulders and the front foot. The hip's going to come the other direction. This right hip's going to come forward. And notice how the knee's going to come up and she's got her toe planted in the ground, the very tip of the shoe, not even the bottom of the shoe. And this angle here in her leg allows her to lay the chest angle back, stretch the hip flexors here in the left side front, and it creates kind of a line there. But by bringing this hip around, now we've wound the base of the spring 50%. And the end result is in her midsection, the core of her body, in her rib cage, she's going to feel a nice tight wind. And I like to make the analogy of what it would feel like for an arrow to be all the way back in a bow. And in that position, that arrow would be trembling with tightness and ready to release the energy. And when she gets this position wound back like this and is ready to launch up the mountain to contact, it's a tight position she's going to hold and release on her timing. So we'll start on her front foot in a normal start position. 50% of the wind will happen at the top of the body, 50% in the hips. And you can see there's a nice release of energy there. She just told me she's been using this in tournament play, and she's brought home 3 trophies in the last 2 weekends from her 2 tournaments. Notice she's finishing in the court, and that's an important part. She's going to stretch and lean towards the contact point and finish in. One of the things that I really like about the look of this is a very powerful, she even does it better than what she's demonstrating. Relaxation in the wrist, but this is where I call the arrow back in the bow. This elbow to be nice and stretched back in this direction so that all the muscles across the front of the chest are stretched out and engaged and ready to start the release up to the ball. So this is a really important line here between this elbow, through this elbow, and the line extends right up to the ball at contact point. And then when you get that relationship going, you're set to really drive in an upward direction with power. Here we go. Again, 50% of the wind with the base, 50% of the wind at the top. Right there, and go. And all she's doing is not trying to create a look for me to see. She's doing this strictly on feel, and that's how you're going to get the best results as a player. Feel for the tightness and hold that energy tight until you're ready to release it. And it's tight there, and go. And there's a nice snap of energy coming out of that. Now with this serve technique, we talked about the hips, 50% wind, shoulders 50% wind. Well, that's for the big flat serve. When she's got to go hit a second serve and hit a topspin second serve, what she's going to do is do less with the base wind, so she's probably not going to bring that foot up quite so much. She may even close her stance a little bit more and not do so much winding here. Why? Because she needs to do about 70% of the wind at the top. We need a lot more turn for hitting a topspin serve than we do for hitting the flat serve. So I want about a 30% wind of the base, 70% of the top. We still get 100% tight wind in here, but now we're in a position where the shoulders are almost parallel to the net. Still a good wind, and she's able to get nice topspin put up on that ball. So this serve can be adapted for the flat, the spins, anything you need it to do. Nice tight wind. It's a different power source though. It's not based on any concept of jumping at all. And I think a lot of servers can really apply this, and it helps them get their shoulders more involved, the full pitching mechanics rather than just the right arm doing all the throwing by itself. So it will help players incorporate more of the healthy pitching mechanics that they want to have involved in their serve motion. And it's going to be coming from this natural wind of the core, the winding of the spring. Too many players I watch go through what would be their set to launch position, and they haven't stored any energy to help them on the attack up to the ball. So this is all about feeling your way into that tight energy and then releasing it on your command all the way through. And what I mean by that is don't take the arrow all the way back in the bow only to bring it back to here and release it, or keep doing this with it. Know exactly how much wind you need in this motion, hold it there, and then on your timing, release everything at once, and you'll learn how to generate great power, much like Lydia, and you'll bring lots of hardware home in your trunk, right? Good job.